A very warm day, everyone. Welcome to virtual learning classes of SLVEM School. So, now we are going to discuss about the Class-7 third unit poem Home. They brought her warrior dead. The author of the poem Home. They brought her warrior dead is Alfred Lord Tennyson. So, here we have introduction about the author Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson remains one of the most renowned poets of all time. His most famous quote comes from his poem In Memoriam. He says, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." This quote has stood the test of time, remaining a source of hope and comfort to everyone who had ever loved and lost someone. This quote also coincides with the poem Home they brought her warrior dead. For even though the widow had lost the love of her life and was left to raise a child alone, it was better that she had ever had the chance to love him at all, having lost his father and close friend. Tennyson was well aware of the pain of losing someone, and yet he still claims that it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. His personal experience with loss makes the words more real to the reader, who has also suffered the loss of a loved one. Though he never went to war himself, Tennyson experienced some of the tragedies of the Crimean War. His poetry offered much comfort to Queen Victoria when she lost her husband in 1861. Sometime after, Tennyson wrote, "Home they brought her warrior dead and in memoriam." He and his wife's child Leonel died on a ship on his way back from India. Tennyson was well acquainted with suffering, and his poetry offered comfort to many others because it revealed the losses that he had been through himself. Tennyson continued to write, and his works continued to touch the lives of those who read them. For this reason, Tennyson remains one of the most influential poets of all time. Influential poets of all time. Home, they brought her warrior dead. Analysis. Stanza 1. Home, they brought her warrior dead. She nor swooned nor uttered cry. All her maidens watching said, "She must weep or she will die." The speaker describes the reaction of a woman when her dead husband was brought back to her. Her grief is so overwhelming she cannot even cry. She did not faint or swoon or make even a noise. Her friends watched her and they became worried about her because she seemed not to grieve properly. They thought she might die if she did not weep as she should. They believed that if this woman did not grieve, the pain she refused to let out would eventually kill her. Stanza 2. Then they praised him soft and low, called him worthy to be loved, truest friend and noblest foe. Yet she neither spoke nor moved. As in many instances of death, the people around the dead man praised him. They talked about his life, about the good that he did. They called him worthy to be loved, and they talked about the kind of friend he was to them. They called him true and noble. Yet, as the people around her grieved and spoke memories, the wife of the dead man could not speak nor move. She remained still. No one knew what was going on in her mind, but she seemed to be in a state of shock. No amount of reminiscence seemed to bring tears to the widow's eyes. She was yet unmoved. Perhaps she was unable to accept the death, even as those around her spoke of him and paid tribute to his memory. The people around her are not sure why the woman refuses to show emotion, but they surround her with words of praise for her husband, hoping to break her out of her shock so that they might be there to comfort her.